The sacrament of spring. The motive for spring is to absent its frigid past. How discontented were the days. They say there is hell. It was configured against winter. Skies of gray match the sleepy brain matter and the mood beneath. Yet comes the day when says to itself, arise, be alive again, ascend to joy. And yet we know the mood of your guise, veiling your intents and all expectancy. This ploy declares the daily life of man, plows the fields, chops the wood, carries water, and ultimately we are to strive for good and to be good. Replace the grayish brain with white soul. God the Almighty expects us to be mighty. A light exists in spring, not present in other quarterings of the year. A color stood abroad on solitary fields, the white of winter. Then comes the sacrament of spring, full flush, and sings to all, arise. We first were entitled to obtain the fruits of all the trees, but one. We somehow were inculcated to a desperate attempt to steal the fruit where title to it had been lost. There is mystery in regard to the tree which bears this fruit, the knowledge of good and of evil. Was it merely a private and divine privilege? Were we an animal of no reason, feared by some entity to be raised to reasoning power? Was this a reason-imparting fruit, and to rise from barbarism to culture? The Lord planted this tree, and you were not jealous of it. Eating, we did not approach your supremacy, but became poor, helpless sinners before you. Then what was to happen? Was this your desire? All things ordained, God meant it for good. Even now we live in daily error, accommodated, and to what effect we do not know. Yet at times we see the walk from goodness led us to a path of knowledge of ourself and of you. All life is to be a pursuit of the knowledge of God, and by it irrepressibly come to praise of your glory. And what was sequel to the sin? We were naked, not as injurious or uncomfortable, but as something arousing sensations of an ethical kind. What did innocent and holy man striding in the garden know of God? To know signifies to choose, as in a wife, or choosing good or evil. Our acquaintance with evil is found in the consciousness of nakedness. Was the knowledge of good and evil forbidden us? This we could have learned in the crisis of temptation, colliding good and evil, if yet we stood aside from it. We will have learned to differentiate evil from good by making either choice. Our spiritual maturity rested on one point: whether man would make his choice for the sake of God and of God alone. The choice was not to be made on instinct upon the unreasoned will of God. It was a test of our character. Would we move to the influence of our own ethical inclination, or make the choosing for the sake of personal attachment to God alone? We were to know you. We were to love you. Amen.